What's going on, party people? Captain Zeus here, and I am so late to the party. I apologize. We're going to be just doing a review over the first season of Daredevil Born Again. I was doing every 2 episodes reviewing it, but because of my new job, I am just behind on stuff. So I'm just going to review the whole season, the remainder, last 3 episodes as well. If you like these reviews that we do, please like, comment, and subscribe for more. And spoiler warning up ahead for those of you that have not seen the show yet. Man, where do I start? Holy frick. There was so much that happened in the last 3 episodes alone. I reviewed the first couple of episodes already on the channel. So the last 3 episodes, I mean, we see Muse getting killed by Heather, which I thought was an interesting move. The Muse bit there where he's, he finds Heather and he tries to do that whole weird, I don't know, infatuation serial killer kind of thing. I was not thinking they were going to kill him just yet. Well, I mean, a part of me did know, but a part of me was hoping they wouldn't because he's such an interesting villain, such an interesting character, and I was hoping they were going to use him more and more, especially since he has powers in the comics, if I believe. So I think that's like the Disney MCU trope of them killing villains way too early when they could have been used more in the future. I have some hope that they're going to bring him back. But anyways, that episode was really good in general. When we go to the next episode, it's the aftermath of that, where Heather is the most annoying character ever. I feel like she does like a weird switch up here. Maybe it's because of the trauma of, killing someone or being in a life or death situation, but she's like, Daredevil didn't save me, I saved me, which is so cringe. I know everybody's been memeing about it lately, but I'm like, sure, you shot him, but if it wasn't for Daredevil, you'd be dead. Like, let's be completely honest here. And she's talking about how they were just boys pretending to be men. No, it's not at all what was happening. Pretty sure anybody that was paying attention knows that Daredevil went there to save you, and Muse was trying to kill you because he's just obsessive about you and art and all that stuff. So I don't know where you're getting this idea from. So honestly, I feel like the writing for her character just went, not a fan of where her character is gone. But I suppose they used it to tie into the next episode where she becomes like a part of Fisk's cabinet, which was such a weird move. So I have no idea what to expect for her and Matt going forward. Pretty sure they're done. So we see Bullseye come back and we're learning more about Foggy's death. And I feel like the last 2 episodes here really put a light onto Foggy's death and what was happening around the time and like the case he was dealing with. And it was such a big issue, but I feel like this should have been something that was talked about more throughout the show, because the last 2 episodes kind of came out of nowhere in regards to the Foggy element and to why he was killed and who was behind it, which I didn't see coming. I did not think Vanessa was the one that killed Foggy at all. I was positive it was Wilson because he lies, but that was a really interesting move, and it really did showcase the relationship between Vanessa and Wilson, and they are 100% ride or die, 100%. Now, obviously Vanessa cheated on him, but he also just disappeared without a trace and didn't say a word for I don't know how many years. So I mean, I suppose you can't blame her, but at the same time, I mean, that's a sticky situation. But when they're together, inseparable, and I respect that. I love that. They were awesome, and she is such a good villain's wife. It really puts in perspective the saying behind every great man is an even greater woman or whatever. I didn't think Matt was going to sacrifice it. Well, I wouldn't say sacrifice, but jump in the way of the bullet in front of Wilson. A part of me was thinking Fisk was going to grab Matt and put him in front of him to cover for the bullet. I didn't think Matt was going to jump right in front of it. So that was interesting. I have no idea where Bullseye is after this. I would expect him to be a huge menace in season 2 since we don't see him afterwards except for at the end. And another thing to showcase in that episode was the fact that, one, Kingpin's basically made his mayoral office into just another part of his business, but also, 2, I feel like we're getting a lot more character development with Swordsman, because when he was in Hawkeye, he was basically kind of like a joke in that show, which, not to say that he is or isn't. I don't know anything much about his character in the comics, but I like the actor that plays him. Now in the show for Daredevil, he is a lot more serious, a lot more, I wouldn't say ruthless, but very political, and he belongs in this higher echelon of the higher part of New York. I don't know how else to say it, but he belongs up there for a reason. So I thought it was interesting how there was a lot more focus on his character, and I did like that. I hope he joins Daredevil in the fight in season 2. And then we get to the final episode here where it's just the climax. Frank comes in to help Daredevil survive getting out of the city, which was awesome to see. I did not like the constant slow-mo for the fight scenes though. It really kind of like put a damper on the mood, especially when it comes to Daredevil as a whole. In the show, the fights are not slow-mo, at least not for the duration of the entire show. It's like maybe some parts of it, but I'm so used to like the one-shot hallway scenes or just a real good choreography. The slow-mo really killed the vibes for me. I know some people like it, some people don't have an issue, and that's fine. We all have our own different tastes, but I was not a fan of the slow-mo. Nevertheless, still such a good action sequence. Karen coming back was an interesting move. Like, I know why she came back and I get it, but I feel like this is another situation where they should have made her pop up more throughout the show instead of just the beginning and end. Like the whole middle part of the show, she was absent. The Foggy storyline was absent. But then in the latter, like the last 2 episodes, she is such an important character. Not to say that she wasn't in the beginning of the show or even in the series as a whole. It's just weird how she's just kind of just there all of a sudden. This obviously has to do with the fact that this season is just a hodgepodge of the original version of the story and the new version of the story. I feel like they could have did it better, but it's still good either way. I know a lot of people are geeking out over Frank confronting the cops, the task force. I know a lot of people are geeking out about that. And I'm like, that's cool and all. I totally understand why Frank is upset with these guys and doesn't like, you know, these cops repping his symbol. Like, I get it. They're doing 2 different things. One's protecting and serving the law. The other is just killing people for revenge or whatever reason. But I don't know. I feel like the online community, they're blowing this way out of proportion and trying to use this for more political means than necessary. And it's like such a it was still cool to watch though. I'm very interested as to the Punisher show or the special movie that we're gonna get on Disney Plus, which has been confirmed to be, I think, produced and like co-written by John Bernthal. You know, he escapes in the end credit scene, which there is an end credit scene in the final episodes. You know, he kills the guy that was guarding him and presumably he escapes. And then we also see the fact that Daredevil, he's gathering up his defenders, which is like Josie and the 2 cops and Karen, which I'm like, oh, they're screwed. But I think this will be the perfect way for in season 2 to not only get the remainder defenders, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones. I think it would also be great to have like Swordsman in there. A lot of people are hoping Spider-Man, but that'll never happen because of the Sony rights. But this will also be a really cool way for Moon Knight to come in there, although I know for a fact he won't because there's no connection. I think it'd be cool to have at least the defenders in there and Swordsman. That would be cool. And yeah, I know season 2 is just going to be great. The last 3 episodes were really jam-packed with a lot of stuff, but at the same time, it was just one coherent story, so it wasn't too much that was happening at once. I'm not going to rate each individual episode for this. I will say the show as a whole, I'm going to give like an 8.5 out of 10. I want to give it like a 9.5 or a 9, but I won't because of the hosh-posh mess and some of the missing story elements that didn't connect, and, you know, the crappy CGI at the beginning and the really lame slow-mo at the end. You know, a lot of this other nitpicky stuff is just my own personal preference, but, you know, it's why I'm giving this an 8.5 out of 10 as a whole for season 1. I'm really excited for season 2 because it is filming right now. I know this is going to be such a crazy storyline. We're going to have basically the Defenders versus the city, if you will, or the Defenders versus Fisk and his task force. But what did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on season 1 of Daredevil Born Again. I'm Captain Zeus. I'll catch you guys later. See ya.